Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rich Swann, and I party all night long. And what I'm telling you to do right now is subscribe to TNAIW, and baby, you are going to get the real. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 114 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and I don't know why that was so serious. But we've been spoiled the past few weeks with a plethora of awesome guests, including Mr. Impact Craig, who you can check on Talking Bloody Nonsense every Thursday, with Nixon, still killing it there. Love the new format, check it out. And we all said, obviously, Lucha will be back in the thick of things next week, and Johnny as well, who both of them you could catch this Tuesday on the episode 1, the premiere of LOL TNA, the season premiere of season 2. Adam, check it out. It is total nonstop deletion review, and it's the Halloween episode. This one's gonna be obviously solo. So I apologize. I apologize ahead of time. No, I appreciate you guys rocking with us. Those who continue to keep watching, if it's live right here at twitch.tv/TNAIWchannel every Sunday, 8 p.m. Or if it's afterwards on the YouTube or back on the swing of things with the pod, with the audio listens, we thank you guys. What's really dope about this is even on our lowest times, as far as numbers are concerned, we're always keeping around 30-40% of the audience, and I really dig that. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And Impact's picking back up, I feel like. We got a lot to talk about. I know there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air with a lot of you, and I understand all sides, so we'll get into all sides a little bit, but one of the main reasons I'm doing this solo today is because I'm trying to check out the second half of the Dolphins game. So as much as I love Impact Wrestling, I want to do this. I love you guys. I want to keep it consistent. We'll see if the chat blows up here or not, but if not, we'll make this fun. We'll get everything in, and from me this week, I know it's been up and down. T. Hughes 1990 making yourself, hey, what's up, buddy? Making yourself known. Appreciate that. This is I'm on a positive trend here, so I hope you guys are along for the ride with that. I think there's a play for all different. Io, shout out to Io. We'll talk about that in talk about him in just a moment. But I'm going to take a positive approach, so I hope you guys are along for the ride on that. Open all opinions. Trust me, in the past 2 weeks since Bound for Glory, Millard in the house as well. What's up, buddy? I've had all the same opinions. I've went through everything, but I'm in a positive space, so I hope you guys are as well. And if not, we can find common ground, because that's what all this is about. And no transition here, but speaking of common ground, Io, who just popped up there, our Twitter man himself, I want to shout out to him. It is his birthday today. Send him some love. He's still in the age where birthdays are really cool and matter, so make sure you blow him up. Show him some love there. And then Lucha as well. I don't know when it happened, if it was between last episode or not. I know it was Wednesday. So between that, shout out to Lucha as well. Not only for helping us and holding down the fort here and kicking it with us on LOL TNA, which is going to be a fun episode this Tuesday, October 25th, the Halloween episode, total nonstop deletion. But also it was his birthday as well, so happy belated birthday to him. But we got a lot to get to, including option C and the spin I have on that for you guys. Alan Angels, PJ Black, and the 8-man X Division tournament that's going on. The Raw ads. PCO re-signing for another year. Heath and Rhino winning. And so much more, including new merch that looks really, really cool coming from Impact here. So before we get into anything else, I want to make sure I hit everything. About to hit up Power Rankings. You can catch GoGo Power Rankings every Tuesday. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern, right before we release LOL TNAIW premiere. With Bert and Datila, God's honest truth, man. These kids have been working hard on it. Love the show. This last episode totally killed it. Best episode ever. Best episode ever. So go give them some love and let them watch it. I'm going to drink some water and get rid of this cotton mouth. Got an hour with you guys. So let's start that off with, I think, a controversial GoGo Power Rankings.
Number 10, Vex and Giselle Shaw. Number 9, I Believe in Joe Henry. Number 8, All Night Long, Rich Swann. Number 7, CYS winner Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer. Number 6, Taylor Wilde. Number 5, Option C, Frankie Kazarian. Number 4, Perfect Creation 1, PCO. Number 3, World Champion Jordan Grace. Number 2, World Champion Josh Alexander. Number 1, New Tag Team Champions Heath and Rhino.
All right. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree? Now, I say it's controversial. Because, shout out to Datila. Yeah, I was got it in there. She believes in Joe Hendry, if you couldn't tell. I love Datila, man. But I say controversial. Because I think coming out of Bound for Glory, our biggest concern, not besides Speedball Mike Bailey, which I think I'm fine on, and I'll give you that twist, was Steve Maclin, right? I said, be patient, wait for it. If they don't deliver on the delivering of Steve Maclin into that next step, whatever that may be, this was a waste, right? And I thought that the past 2 weeks have featured this dude brilliantly. He's doesn't need another title. I always said, he needs to win DMC. Screw it. This is Josh's guy, okay? We've been looking for that young dude will be an Impact Foundation piece that's the opposite of Josh, right? The good, the evil, whatever way you want to spin it. I think there's an argument you can make both. Yes, folks, Dreamer made the rankings. But, yeah, man, I think there's some good stuff at play. And I think Maclin is obviously the beneficiary out of all the nonsense going on. But I definitely think he should have been on. Now, who do you take off? That one's hard to say. But I love that the champions are getting some love. Once again, check out Bert and Datila's opinions on Tuesday, GoGo Power Rankings. And if you want to make a difference, always looking for people at Bert Maclin 11. Hit him up on Twitter or at TNAIWchannel. Hit us up. I'll get you in there. You put 1 through 10 after every episode, either Thursday, after the show, before Sunday at noon Eastern. That's it. Don't need to be a buddy. Don't need to shoot the shit. You could pop in, pop out, or you could blow it up. Doesn't matter, but we need more people. So hit us up and join the Power Rankings. All right, so we have the Power Rankings. Let's see how we got there, right? Let's get an Impact on Access TV review board. So we're starting off, I always start off with BTI. If you don't watch it, they're making it important, at least the match, right? You got to watch it. And then if you're not a consistent watcher in it, I believe in Dreamer. Shout out to Millard for that. They obviously, if you don't want to catch up with the whole thing, you watched last week's episode. Why do you need to watch a review show? I get it. But Aceman Intel, I make sure to hit on for you guys. And then the matches, they're making hard to miss. Not only the quality of the match for quite some time now, but also the fact that this X Division tournament, the match next week on BTI, we get a redo of, if you're a BTI watcher like myself, the last part of it. The Black Taurus Laredo Kid one it is a can't miss. It's a rivalry that's been kind of a win-loss, 50-50 booking with them, so this will be pretty cool. Anywho, so Iceman Intel this week is the last rodeo continues. So where will Mickey go? Will she go outside the company? Will she stay within the company? She stayed within the company. Spoiler alert, we'll get to that. And then next up was Dirty Dango defeating Johnny Swinger. Great comedy act. Look, I said from the get, it just felt like the gimmicks clicked with them. Didn't think it'd be in a rivalry way. But, hey, look, Dirty Dango is an interesting cat. Fits in well. Could do something fun. Definitely could go in the ring. And shout out to Tom, by the way, for the TNA knowledge that was dropped in this match. If you didn't see it, man, from talking about Johnny Curtis getting a match in the old TNA days against the New York Connection on one of the Wednesday night pay-per-views of Swinger and Diamond. Really cool shit, man. Some really cool knowledge there. Hey, T Hughes 90 dropping some knowledge here, man. Iceman sold his wrestling company, Destiny Wrestling. Interesting. So Dirty Dango, no matter what you say, if numbers are something we go off of, numbers are something that really does move the meter for your personal meter of, I can get behind this or I can't get behind this. The crowd's behind him in Dirty Dango. Crowd's also behind the Swing Man and the Dice Man as well, who I love. Still think they deserve a bromance-like victory for the tag division, for the titles. But yeah, Dirty Dango, man, got the numbers on YouTube as far as compared to everything else. So little spike there. Think he's not offensive, as my friend Johnny would say. I enjoyed it. Getting into the main show here, we start off with Bay and Juice kind of connecting and feeling out where's Ace. We find out that Ace Austin's knocked out. Now, sucker for a good whodunit, first of all. Love how this is playing out. 2, love all the tears that we can now eat of the people who are screaming their lungs out over the Bullet Club losing to Dreamer and Bully Ray. Look, it was a good little opening match. You got to keep Bully hot. Thought it did a great job of keeping an often losing, mind you, we're always complaining about the booking of Bullet Club, an often losing team. Bay re-signing as well. I thought that was a nice graphic drop there. Thought Juice getting pinned was another interesting choice. So I thought there was a lot of things that we might have read the spoilers for, myself not, but it was hard to ignore the complaints. But to 2 weeks out, look back and say, is it really worth getting all that anger for, or all that being upset for? I don't think so. And I thought it gave an often losing Bullet Club something juicy to bite into. And now that we know Bay is re-signed, a good whodunit here could really elevate them into whatever the first step of rectifying Ace, Bay, and the Bullet Club. They say patience, I'm saying patience. I always say patience. Sometimes I jump a little bit, but I don't know, man. I didn't think this was offensive. I thought, is Bully and Dreamer everyone's ideal situation? I'm going to save my Bully thoughts for later because they've actually... It's hard. I don't think most of our opinions were based on him coming back. I think most of our opinions were him winning the gauntlet. Now seeing how that played out, it's a little easier to take a step back and think about how we feel about Bully. I know how the numbers feel about Bully, if we're still caring about numbers. 500,000 watched his re-debut. His other stuff's hitting. The ratings were up, so... I'll say my opinion of why it changed with Bully. But the history of what this guy brings it can't be looked over. If we can't in one hand say the most valuable thing Impact has is the TNA library, and then you bring in someone who has reach on a bigger platform outside of Impact. We bring in someone who, look, one of the biggest things that I worry about when you bring in a 50-year-old, if it's, I don't care if I have to say it like this, but you guys, Jericho's fine, Goldberg's fine, all these people are fine. We're talking about a Bully Ray who is, and that was my biggest concern, but seeing this match, he's wrestled the same style for the past 20 years. It still looks legit. He could still go. He's still connecting. And, yeah, I know. I don't want it to be a constant ECW nostalgia tour either. And that's coming from an ECW homer, man. But the numbers don't lie. And if that's what this is about, is drawing some eyes, that's one thing compared to whatever. But it can't be a constant. I agree with that. We're past that. But this is a nice little thing. And to be honest, besides for that little moment, this feels more like a TNA nostalgia tour, in all fairness. Talking aces and eights, we're talking Bully's history of betraying people in this company. So I'm right now, I'm for it. I'll get into a little bit more, but I just think that one of the biggest concerns you have, no matter who it is at that age, is can they still go in the ring? Do they look sloppy? Do you believe it? And I believe it. I believe in Bully Ray. Championship aside, we'll talk about that. But Bullet Club has been terrible this year. The booking of it, but once again, it's not that the booking of them has been terrible. It's the unknown of what you can do with someone. Why are you going to invest to airtime and quality wins over talent who's committed to staying to someone who hasn't signed an extension yet? I think we got a bigger picture on a lot of these things, but it's hard to book. You blame that on management, not booking, I would say. But let's keep moving on here because there's a lot I want to get to within Impact, and it was, I thought, a very good episode. Once again, love the Bay updates. Love all the graphic overlays they're doing in general. If it's promoting come sail away music things or totally 80s, yeah, that's one thing, sure. But the match graphics are really cool that they're putting up. The kind of calls, to matches that will happen. I like that. I like the Sports Illustrated thing. Anyways, we go on. Oh, and obviously Bully, pulling Bay aside and say it wasn't me. So the whodunit continues and gives the Bullet Club something, and it continues. Bully Ray, isn't he a heel? Which I think will end in a shocking way. I don't know. We'll see. Keeping it going here. Next up was Heath and Rhino getting hyped. And I love these close shots. Feels old ECW style. Look, we know we're not in a 14,000 seat arena, So the close-ups, the really cool utilization of the lighting, and I think we're getting back to a look. I think there's more branding that will coming up soon. Don't know when. Hopefully soon. But yeah, love this. Was a cool little shot just to tell you, hey, we've been waiting all year for this. This is our year. We said we're going to win it. More on them later. Next up was Bully and Dreamer talking. Look, keeping Bully relevant here. Keeping Bully relevant within the storyline here. Yeah, I got to answer Millard back. Yeah, I get it. Ace's booking, yeah, sure. But he's kind of, his fate right now coincides with Bay's at that point. So we could go on and on about that, but I agree with you. I'm not saying the Bullet Club's booking has been good, period, but it's the other side of it, because I think they all go hand in hand. So, well, I guess unless you want Bay just holding Ace's coat on ringside while you push Ace for 4 months. Anyways, so keep going here, man. Keep it on the rails, Geoff. Bully and Dreamer are talking. Dreamer still not trusting his friend. Look, I respect Tommy Dreamer. I'm okay with him in moments like these, I guess. But think the wrestling has been passed. And I don't think it's needed. Maybe in this moment it was, because who's going to be Bully's friend? We'll see where it goes from here on out. But he's back on the roster page as a wrestler, so yeah, we'll see. But Moose coming in here talking about scumbag and all that again. Love that Moose is taking more of a prominent role on TV lately. I know he's the special attraction kind of thing they're doing with him, which he fits, obviously. It's Moose. But yeah, I like that. But he also says if it was him, he wouldn't admit it. So just scumbag shit, right? Next up is Taylor Wilde defeating Mia Yim. I didn't even know Mia had one more match. Made sense. I was wondering why she was still on the roster page. So good for her to do the job on the way out, and then obviously get removed from the roster page, because she's done for now at least. But look, it was I don't want to say passing the torch, because I don't mean in any way sense of you're the next whatever. I mean Taylor Wilde is kind of getting now what Mia was getting, right? She's flying or fitting into that role or that spot on the roster here, and I thought this was a damn good match. I thought it was back and forth. Kind of actually made me think Mia was sticking around. Once again, spoiler-free show here. But yeah, I thought this was a great outing for Taylor Wilde. And then obviously things ensue. Mia picks up the loss here. She rolls out. And then Hardcore Country hits, right? And this is the next stop that Iceman, I guess, was alluding to. So it looks like it's going to be Mickey and Taylor. But before that happens, Vexed comes in to try to spoil it with Giselle as well. Jordan clears house. What a I don't say viral moment that was, but love the presentation and what they let Jordan get away with, man. I don't know about get away with, but thought that was dope, man. And I'm glad that she's getting the credit she deserves after that Masha run, like of where her stature is, not only on the show, but the power rankings as well. Matters. So Mickey, yeah, Vex, Shaw, Grace, it's going to lead to a 3-on-3 this coming Thursday, so that's pretty exciting. And it keeps the last rodeo fresh. It's not just, I want to face you, let's face each other, respect, da-da-da. There's other ways to go about this. And, you know, the tag division, the Knockouts tag might not be at the forefront of this, right? But it's hard to take that away from it. And I don't know if that means Mickey getting into that tag division, if that means... I think it would be nice if Giselle split off and had a face tag. I don't know who with, but... yeah, I hope at the end of the day that the Knockouts division getting the shine only leads to more tag teams being built here. That's a side note, but I thought this was a great segment, and getting a lot of knockouts on TV, and making sense doing so, which is cool. Joe Hendry is next up, and he's Jason Hotch's girlfriend loves Joe Hendry. The people seem to love Joe Hendry. Datila believes in Joe Hendry. And I do too. I don't believe in that damn shirt they gave him. I don't believe in that. But I agree with Millard here. Mickey and Taylor would be a very interesting tag team. Hopefully they do that before James leaves. Yeah, I don't know, man. Lucha and I have been playing around with this fake or the fantasy booking of Team Canada. I just think it'd be Taya and Taylor together for a Knockouts Team Canada tag would be dope, man. Think you got to break it up. Shout out to Critical Sting in there. I believe in Joe Hendry. All right, people picking up. I am too. Bound for Glory made me believe because people were into it, and that's all you can. I mean, reaction. Reactions matter, especially when it's on TV. You know, you want it to come across as a thing, and I think Joe Hendry does come across as a thing. So once again, that shirt, it's a little shitty, but I like the Bomb Squad. But I like what they're doing here with Joe Hendry, man. And I like Jason Hotch, man. I think he could be a player in the X division. I dig him, and he's got a good look to him. Once again, bringing these gut check kids in with no backstory. Just hey, they're here, And then people start warming up to him slowly. You start giving him a little gimmick, a little play, a little character development. So it's good to work Jason into these matches as well. But yeah, Joe Hendry gets the mic. Gotta mention that as well, and gets to talk about believing in Joe Hendry. So there we go. It's interesting to see if they keep the back segments alive in the more, or the ones that were obviously taped by him and sent in. It looks more like they're going to be, and I hope that's the case. I hope it's just him being integrated into serious situations and making people uncontrollably clap, or just smiling about life and coming off as a dick. So stay in that zone, and I will be a happy camper. Oh, by the way, the Taylor and Mia match, I'm looking at my notes real quick. Going solo, got to get back into the groove. Thanks, guys, for lighting up the chat, give me something to talk about. Millard, T. Hughes 90, Critical Sting, Io, Birthday Man himself, Datila, hey, Datila there. Well, she was watching the Black Adam. Hey, no, as long as you guys come through, man, there's no sorry about being late. Appreciate the love, appreciate you guys coming out each week and talking to me, man. One of the most exciting things of my week. Gives me some camaraderie. Treehouse. Speaking of that, October 25th, this Tuesday, first Treehouse Season 2 premiere. It's going to be total nonstop deletion. Good time. But yeah, the between Mia and Taylor, I have a note there that just says arm drags. Yeah, man. The arm drags of Taylor Wilde. And Mia as well. Beautiful. Chef's kiss on those things, man. Next up was Smart Impact Plus. I love when they do these flashbacks. I know it can get, when it used to be redundant and it was the same things over and over, and as much as we love Steiner math, we get it. But Impact Plus, Moment of the Week, I think it's important. It can continue a story. It can give you something to look forward to go back and watch. So smart. But this one was relevant. It was Bully Ray as champion, so reminding us of the history, and then Sabin, who is still with the company as well, and his championship. They're back and forth there. So cool to see. Cool to see them use that footage and making it make sense. So, all right, I'm taking a drink of water here, getting ready because I got a little bit more to burn through, but this one is obviously going to be something everyone wants to talk about, hear about, is option C. And I'm not going to go into the back and forth of, we had a good one in the chat, guys. Shout out to Bert and Io, of kind of the different perspectives of things. And I think a play can be made for all different sides of how this thing has unfolded. But from my perspective, my job isn't my job. My goal here isn't to put one way of thinking over another. My thing is to look from it as a standpoint of this is where we are. How do I feel about this? And if in the process it gains us one fan at a time for Impact Wrestling, more power to it. But unbiasedly, I can see all different sides of the Bobby Fish, the option C, the Mike Bailey. Once again, Mike Bailey's going to be fine. Mike Bailey's got 13 kookaroos. He's cool, man. Okay, he's going to be fine. He's in the X Division title. I just want to look from where we are now, and I want to play it from perspective after I talked about Scott D from Frankie Kazarian in kayfabe standpoint, and maybe from that. Weird imagination, drop what I give you. You can run with that narrative as well and whatever. But first off, Scott comes out and puts over Frankie's win, 5-time champion, all the first champion in 3 decades, which is dope information, man. I love nerd stuff. So that was cool. And it made it feel important. Once again, I understand all the other stuff, but we're looking from this point forward. And once again, I agree with all different sides, but that's not now we're going to get into. What I want to get into here is from Frankie's standpoint. Okay, kayfabe. Say you go hey, Impact wants you to do a transfer for a little bit. Let's talk about sports clubs, right? So he's transferred over, but it's a 6 date period, kayfabe. And the first match you get to be in is the X Division Revolver. You get that match. You win that match. You go on to Bound for Glory for the X Division title. I'll let you stay if you win the title as long as until you lose it, right? We'll say that's the kayfabe thing. Frankie agrees. He comes over. He wins the Revolver match. He wins the X Division title. But Frankie, as much as he loves the X Division title, has always wanted to be world champ. So in his mind, if he's going to be there and is allowed to defend whatever title in which he holds, thanks to his boss, the words of his boss, then why not be the world title? Why not make your transfer mean the most? And that's the way I'm going to look at it. And from the words of Frankie Kazarian, the only question I have out of his promo is, who are you better than, bro? Who is Frankie Kazarian throwing under the bus? Because he said world champions, not X Division. We're talking X Division. Yeah, we could go back and forth on how great Frankie is in the list of X Division champions. Now, as far as world champions, I want to know, what do you guys light up the chat? What was he talking? He's talking Saban? I don't think so, right? He's talking Anderson? Who else was in there? RVD? I don't know. I don't know who he's talking about here. I don't know. But anyways, I dig this because, once again, could he have come in and say, I'm from AEW and I want a title shot, and it would have been a blowaway on an Impact match or an Impact Plus special? Sure. But the thing we complain about the most, as far as when it comes to depth, I mean, the knockouts, yeah, for sure. Tag, I get that. But the world, right? Every match, there's been some little feuds, but Josh is, especially as a face, his reign has been, oh, you want a match? Okay, I'll face you. Oh, you want a match? Sure. Whatever, you know? For in the span of since Bound for Glory, to have not only bring up Macklin, who's about to come in and make Kazarian eat shit, you reminded everyone who Moose is, and how viable a champion option he is, being Josh's real first feud there. You have Bully Ray, who's a TNA guy, who was a 2-time champion, who wins the Collier shot. You got Macklin, who obviously I just mentioned is getting boosted because of this. You're giving Kazarian cashing in his option. See, you have Josh's title now meaning the most it has meant since the beginning of this shit. And that's no offense to Josh. He's still a great champion. Still love his matches. Still love him being champion. Still don't want him to lose it. But it's just been what was put in front of him. And he's been winning, and they've been great matches. Shelley, they've been good shit. But now this means something, and they're selling Overdrive. So from Frankie the Wrestler, kayfabe, I understand it. And from Impact's side, now I understand that the Sacrificial Lamb, who isn't a Sacrificial Lamb, remember Mike Bailey is he's going to be fine. He's got 13 kookaroos, okay? It's going to be cool. I just watched Get Him the Greek recently. Leave me alone. But it made a lot more, it made the world title maybe going from something that was kind of not relevant, it's always relevant, but not the main focus on Impact, to now being the main focus. Okay? So at the very least, we could take that out of it. I thought this was some great shit, especially with Macklin doing his thing. And then also Josh making the save, because it continues that storyline at least there, and it gives Frankie the opportunity to say, hey, thanks, man, but I don't need your help, and don't trust Bully because I've been here before. So just a lot of interweaving little things that make the world title important. The one thing I will say about Option C, and I give it to Io here, first of all, not everyone who gets Option C wins. There's been failures, okay? Mike Bennett, right? Didn't he do that? Spud. Edwards failed, right? I think Aries failed once. There's been times. The only thing I will say is, because I don't want the X Division being a stepping stone in a way, or whatever, maybe there's one time a year where you could cash in. Destination X, something of that nature. Like, this is the pay-per-view in which you can cash in. So then it's a one-time thing, and instead of making everyone think that maybe the wrestler has that in the back of the mind the whole time. I don't know. I think there's room to play with that maybe, but I still like it. Still makes everything feel more important. I dig it. Let's move on. Next up is Lish, Eddie, and Honor No More. Eddie teasing what he's going to do. Kind of have a guess what's going on here, but we'll continue for the sake of timing. Rich Swann, we get into VBD here, picking up the loss, Eric Young. Rich Swann getting a roll-up. Can someone correct me here, because I didn't have a chance to look in it. Who won from who? Did Rich Swann defeat Eric Young, or did he... How did that play out world title-wise back a few years back? But either way, Rich Swann picking up the win here. VBD still being something of interest, still looking for them to add players. Once again, keep an eye out. Where's Masha? One, where's Masha? And two, Macklin had, and I don't know if this is the route they go, but Macklin and EY kind of had a moment at the Call Your Shot that I want you guys to keep your eye on. Okay? Don't know which way this is playing out. Swann beat EY for Bound for Glory title in 2020. Thank you, Critical Sting. Coming in clutch. Okay, but something to keep your eye on out here, man. VBD still doing something interesting, and Sammy continuing that feud, which I love. Once again, you could put Sammy in any storyline, and it boosts whatever's going on. And what I also love is the callback, because now we have Rich and potentially Sammy teaming back up or something down that line. So, excited to see that. Keep going here. Major players want the gold, and I'm all for it. Io with the stats here. Swann has pinned EY 4 times now. EY always a team player. Major players want all the gold. I'm all for it, man. Obviously give me story, give me time and some depth to it. But, let's go, man. Tag team. We're about to lose a tag team. Spoiler alert. But what Impact did here was make the cushion of falling a lot more important. Or a lot easier, excuse me. A lot more important. I'm trying to read and think. My brain don't work that way. But we continue moving on. Tom and Matt are ringside. I always love to mention this because I've always loved when we could go to a commentating team and they feel part of the show without feeling like the focal point, right? Sometimes it could be too over the top, but not Tom and Matt, man. Love it. I know this is whatever because there's been some good ones in between, but since Don and Mike, this is probably my favorite commentating duo. The mix of the history they put in there, and the camaraderie, or I guess camaraderie. What's that? The chemistry between the two is good, man. I won't go on, but I love it. So they're talking about the matches that will be coming out next week. Vexed and Giselle versus Jordan, Mickey, and Taylor. 8 X Division, man. That's another thing I want to mention. The opposite, play, or not the opposite play, but the other way of looking at this as well, another way of looking at this, is that the X Division title now has 8 people, including a returning PJ Black and Alan Angels. 8 people, a division that's defined. What's up, Lucha? Shout out to Lucha there. It now has a tournament that we wouldn't have had. Mike Bailey, yes, he could have beat the record, but he still can't. He's in the tournament. Let's see how it plays out. Spoiler free. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to say at the same time, we're at where we're at. And now that option C was cashed in, we have 8 challengers, 2 being fresh, for an X Division championship that now has some established players. You're seeing some regular names: Laredo Kid, Kenny King, Black Taurus. You're seeing, I know I'm missing some because the math isn't there. But there's Trey, obviously. There's consistent cats in that X Division. So it's starting to feel, I don't know, where there's always contenders. There's people who are in this division. I like it, man. And I'm for whoever wins the title. I'm serious about that. I'm cool with all 8. Even Alan Angels. We'll get to him later. I don't know if he's a big-time player, but I just think anything that invigorates this, not that Mike hasn't, but I think one of the things with him was always finding, kind of like Josh, finding a challenger. I don't want to find a challenger for the champion. I want the challengers to find the champion. So I'm excited for this either way, and I think that's a positive. That might be kind of a negative for some of you. So another way to look at it. Next is the tag team title match. And shocker, Heath and Rhino win this, defeating OGK. Now, I know there's a question later, but I'm going to get to it now because I'm already talking into oblivion, and I want to get this on that hour marker. Go Dolphins. But Heath and Rhino were the right choice. Am I the biggest Heath and Rhino as a team fan? No. Are they my first tag team that I would want to be the champions? No. Do they deserve a title run? Yes, I think so. And the fact that they have to make a decision, now maybe to their own demise on Impact's end, but you have to make a decision on who your belt's going to go on, what makes sense, who really has OGK feuded with that makes sense for this win to matter. I think it's Heath and Rhino. There's a long storyline there. If you could make the argument out of all the tag teams, even the more exciting major players, or even bringing Decay, up to where they deserve to be, Heath and Rhino make the most sense. Millard with the question, Geoff, would you book Macklin versus Josh to Hard to Kill, or would you stretch it? I'd stretch it out, man. I'd stretch it out because I think there's some development in. I think there's room to play with Josh being the heel and Macklin being the face, but we'll see where that goes. I think look, you want that crowning moment for Macklin. I want Macklin to take the belt off Josh. That's our guy. That's our guy. And he's got to do it. Not with a bet, not with a stupid trophy and cash in behind. Man to man, eye to eye, needs to beat Josh. So, but to wrap that up, man, I thought it was a good episode. Obviously, we finish off with them losing the titles, Heath and Rhino being the right team to beat them, OGK singing their swan song. They'll be on one more episode. But we get the PCO moment. That's why he was so high in the power rankings. PCO, who re-signed for a year, who no one cares about how his age is, even though he's older than Bully Ray. So, yeah. PCO. No, I do have to say, it does sound like I'm a hypocrite because I talked about Bobby Fish's age, but for me, there's a difference between someone who's established something in Impact already or continues to, than just bringing in an outsider who's older and has no history with us to just, hey, here, welcome to our territory, here's our belt. Maybe there's a difference. But yeah, no, Honor More implodes here. PCO gets that moment. Obviously, it's going to split off everybody. Some leaving, some staying. PCO, obviously, one of them. And Kenny King, once again, I think the steal out of all this, is back with Impact, man. He's in the 8-man X Division tournament. So, we'll see how it plays out, guys. What did you guys think of it? Light it up for me. Let me know. But we had some small Ds with 5%. We had some C 5%. B and A is where I think it's really fair, and I'm unbiased, honest, and truthful. Even if you don't agree with the content or the direction, maybe per se, you can't watch it unbiasedly and say, "Damn, that was a bad episode." I don't think you can. I really don't think so. So I was in a B plus. Maybe it was a breath of fresh air. Maybe it was because I was so nervous from Bound for Glory of what's going to happen. This was okay, a little sigh of relief. I don't know. But we got a lot of fun things coming out of this episode, and that's all you can ask for. So make sure you guys look out for the poll every week. Make sure you vote. We're going to continue this going on. We're going to stick to time. And we're going to get into hot topics. We got a few, but a lot, but some of them are just some cool things coming out of Impact Wrestling. But I start off with number one here, Quinn Shines, who's been commenting the past few weeks, so thank you. Angels would be a good addition for X Division. Hopefully he sticks around. We'll see. I was okay with him. I wasn't, I'm excited to embrace whatever Impact it puts ahead in this tournament, but I didn't see anything that was like, I gotta make sure this guy doesn't walk out the door immediately. As far as free agency, I'd rather Impact just save all that money that freed up wrestlers to re-sign Dion. I agree. I think Macklin should turn face and Josh turn heel. Not a bad idea at all. I just hope this bully story doesn't lead to him becoming champion. That would be embarrassing. I think there's a lot worse. And if we live in a world where Jericho is accepted as a champion, Goldberg accepted as a champion, if the story's told right, I'd wait and see what happens. Much more so than maybe I'd be jumped to do that with Kazarian winning, which I don't think is the case. And I don't think the same for Bully. But I wouldn't jump off a bridge. Wouldn't. The numbers are there. The platform outside of Impact's there. He has history. But I don't see it. I also didn't see Kazarian winning, so who knows. I think a lot of people judge without watching as well. This is almost equivalent to Foley winning the belt in 2009. If Bully wins, Lucha, great point. I think the parallels are there. I think the difference is, even though both of them brawled in most of their career, Bully still looks like I wouldn't be scared if he fell. And I love Mick, but he was looking, you could tell, man. You read his book, he was hurting. But I can see the parallels. I don't think it happens, but we've been through this before, and it's been obviously, I thought, a really interesting thing with Foley as well. Anyone from Sting. Doll99, welcome back. Macklin was the highlight of this week's show. Right? Honor No More faction was so inconsistent throughout the year. Once again, I think that has to play with were they leaving, were they going ROH or not, but I agree. Really didn't add much to the show past Slammiversary. PCO, who not only was more over than anybody in the faction, but loyal and won, was looked at by Eddie as a loser and traitor for no reason. Really bad writing. Or you could say that Eddie's a heel and has to blame his woes on somebody. So he blames PCO. The guy who was loyal and won all the time and looked at by Eddie, anyways. Also, I don't think I had bad writing. Also, did the 50-something really need to defeat the Bullet Club? Already talked about that. Don't care. Pin juice. And did Heath Rhino really need to win the tag titles? Talk about that as well. I really do think that was the tag team, if you want them to or not, that made the most sense on a short notice to win. To end a short reign. Okay. Buddy Chris led another solid episode. A shout out to Lucha for being the main part of that. Obviously, you could see that by watching this one. So here's some thoughts. Lucha has kept bringing up the solid point about Macklin. We haven't seen him completely pissed off yet. To me, Macklin still looks good with this recent outcome. I agree. Macklin is the true star of this. And as long as it continues, there's no complaints from me. He says the same thing about Macklin that he say about Masha. Lucha's saying that as well. Still looks strong after her loss to Grace. I agree. We haven't seen her yet, and I think that's important. Come on. She needs. I can't do it. I know we were talking about it. Is this it? Is it just a V? I don't know. But join that VBD, man. Thrilled about Chris Bay's new contract. Mine as well. I'm glad I as well. I'm glad they rubbed that in the face with the SI announcement. He is a pillar of Impact. I agree. And now Impact and him are on the same page. Don't know if that was the wherever, but he signed for multiple years. Excited. Thanks, Lucha. Thanks. Let's see. And then I mess up. We're going to continue here. Best side 92. I don't think bringing a non-side talent is bad. Good, because I mentioned, if you didn't catch out last episode, which I thought was really good, shout out to Lucha for making that happen. Non-side talent, 76% of our roster has been with us for the past 2+ years and have been consistently with us. And that's me excluding some in and outs. Like Taylor Wilde and Alex Shelley even. So we keep our mainstays. But yes, we do bring some people into the territory. And they're saying, especially with some of these talents, using Impact as a stepping stone, giving them titles over unsigned talents is the problem. It depends on what Impact wants out of it. I think if you want to keep it kayfabe, want it talents that are much more popular outside of Impact and more successful come in and win then. I get how it just makes look Impact. I get what you're saying as a stepping stone, but I think at where Impact is in reality, it makes sense for them to embrace the rub and the pop. And look, I want Impact to get back to where it was. Fuck, I would love, first F-bomb in the time, would love for it to be number one again. Just is, that's in my heart, that's how I feel. But my brain understands. And, Millard, thanks, buddy. I hope, wait, do you like Eddie better with Honor No More? I hope not, because that's but anyways, yeah, I get the rhetoric, and I get, people come to the towns, they didn't always win the titles. I get that as well. At the same time, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, when we do get back to that the promised land, and people look back at the record books, does it matter if the Briscoes are on the lineage, or the OGK over, say, Ace and Bay, who will get theirs in time? No, I think it looks good. And there's, when we were talking in the group chat, or the team chat, we were bringing up the history of the X division, but on paper, it looks a lot different than how it played out day to day. All right, thanks, man. Hey, I will say this though, Eddie does have better theme music, of course. All right, both dad bods though. All right, keep going on. PCO signs. He re-signed with Impact for another year. Love that he said they did everything they could to keep him there. What that tells me is, one, not only did it, I don't think there was any, I don't know, maybe there was some thoughts of him leaving, but I feel like he fits in to what we do. I thought they presented him from day one as a star. Love the character. I think they could do a lot with it. How they use him, once again, we'll see. But when he says, they did everything they could to keep me, it lets you know that they probably did the same for the Kingdom. And they probably did the same for Vincent. And they probably did the same for the Briscoes. Because they do, and we don't see that. We just see who leaves. But we got to talk about who stays as well, man. PCO staying. Some really cool things, and I don't want to put I don't say blame. I want to say I don't want to give the credit to somewhere it's not due, but you can't deny the dopeness, although still all black shirts, of the new designs of the merchandise. Yes, we have, action figures coming, all that jazz. But we have PCO here, dope shirt. We have Killer Kelly, dope shirt. And we have tags, right? We have the image caught me by surprise. I was trying to see what the hell it was, but it's their logo. We got the dog tags from Motor City Machine Guns. Again, so we want them to step up in the creative, right? But we also wanted them to step up in marketing and then also merchandising. And I really think they do, man. Look, go cop these shirts. Really cool. PCO, Killer Kelly, dope Brian Myers one. Dog tags there. So stepping up there. The new merch they've been dropping has been huge upgrades. 76 Philly, welcome back. Especially the graphics they're using on socials when advertising them. Yeah, 100%. And that's what just took me by surprise. That was beautiful, man. I'm a little in the treehouse, but I thought the Motor City Machine Guns, especially that layout, was really cool, man. So it's good to see them doing this. And, Lou being aboard as well, I don't know what his, to be honest, what his actual day-to-days are with Impact. At the same time, the Joe shirt is flames as well. Yeah. Wait, are you not talking about Joe Hendry, right? You're talking about Joe Doring, right? But anyways, I like that they're stepping up. And there's going to be something else we're talking about them stepping up in just a moment. So I'll get back to that. One of them is this. Shout out to, I'll say it, at Big Jet Sexy, Michael. Tagged us in this. Impact now on Whatnot. I'm old. I didn't know what the hell it was, but cool of them to now be on TikTok, now on this, stepping up their merch game, fixing the little big things. We got to see at the new tapings that they faced away from the hard cam, because at least it means they're moving in the right direction on these little big things. We'll see next is the rebranding, but once again, it looks like we're going grunge. And I'm excited for that. But shout out to Michael for dropping this for us, tagging us in this, and go check out Whatnot. I actually looked into it. Really cool community to buy memorabilia and tons of stuff. Dude, what do we say? Just said at the top of the show and throughout, this company's most valuable thing, their asset, is the nostalgia. It sells, the numbers drive. So check it out. Oh, that was the same one. Next up, shout out to our old friend, the Yellow Bone there. This is how day one of Vegas tapings looked. Good crowd. It looked good. It looks like the hard cam's the way we want it. Good sign. I heard good things about the crowd. I don't, spoiler free. But hope this brings us right into overdrive. With some really interesting stuff. Keeping it doesn't need to be home runs right now, especially if they're rebranding or whatever they're gonna do. Let's just keep knocking it. Some doubles, some triples. Start at overdrive, and go for there. Reportedly, night 2 sold out. Pretty cool. Millard, I'm trying to read yours, buddy, but eyes ain't working. Ty wanting to work for AEW again. I love Ty and hope that she stays, but have people stop using Impact Rub for jumping to other companies. Yeah. Yeah. Back-to-back sellouts, or excuse me, night 2 sellouts. Everyone's saying in there. PW Insider says it. Cool. Good sign, guys. Once again, establishing a market, building on that market. Not only is the economy the way it is, the wrestling market is oversaturated. Impact had a big steep hill to go up regardless, but I think they're finding their footing, and if they can all come together to keep this good, I say it, but juicy storylines, put some meat on the bones with these things, which I think we're getting into, some stuff that's interesting. Look, there's times where we've done a show and we've had to say, "Oh yeah, that was good. That was fun. Yeah." But nothing was controversial. Nothing was debatable. Nothing was. There was some stuff where it was just right. It was good. For better or worse, we're talking about things. More eyes are on us. People are talking about us more. I went down PW Insider, and that's what popped this in my head. And there was at least like 6 things of impact. Hey, man. Keep them in their mouths. Yeah, that's what we got to do. But anyways, good sign that this is all going on. We're going into overdrive. Once again, I don't think Kazarian wins it. It's another story for another day. But the build is all that matters. Getting Josh some people that make that reign the most important thing on the show, if not second to Jordan. So, last, the thing we got to talk about. No, you're good on the comments. It's my eyes, brother. I get just context drying up. Shout out to 30K Eddie. It says, we might be friends in there. I don't know, but we retweeted it. An Impact ad. What's going on tonight? Hashtag WWE Raw. Impact buying ads on Raw. We got to step up in merch. Yes, we're losing some people, but it looks like we're using that money wisely. Now, you got to think about this from different ways. Was this on national TV? Was this on USA's broadcast? When were these ads? I know it works different now. And you can, well, USA, I don't know. I went over this with Lucha and Johnny the other day. I don't know. I don't know enough, and it's been too long for me to make a claim as far as how ads work in different markets now, or different apps, especially. But the fact that multiple people, and I'm only picking out one out of the multiple, saw this, an Impact ad on Raw, is a good sign. Now, that must mean to me that they feel confident in what they're putting out or about to put out or where they're headed to start spending some cash on the marketing. So whatever way we look into this, or we look at this, this is not a bad thing. Sign Kai Dudley out there making moves. The ad ran 3 times throughout the night, says 76 Philly. Datila says I didn't see the ad. Do you have commercials, Datila? When did you watch? Oh, you do watch live. You watch live. So it could be different markets. We got to figure it out. 76 Philly, so that we at least know if you're in the Philly area, that means it played there. But either way, guys, between the merch, the vision, the look of things, the direction we think they're headed, the making, and once again, maybe, and I'm being unbiased here, at least in my eyes, I'm trying to be, because there have been some rough weeks for me. But it just feels like maybe they're preparing for, maybe is it hard to kill? That's a little far away. What are they looking, what is going to be that turning point, if you want to say, that makes them turn it on 10? And I want to see. But right now we're getting back to what I think are B+. I think B+ shows, which is a good place to be. We had some B-. We had some C's. You can make an argument. I didn't really think so. It's still entertaining to me. I never want to turn it off. Do I agree with everything? No, but I don't know, guys. I think the signs are there for us to be cautiously optimistic with the booking. And I think the signs are there for it looking like Impact is making an investment or getting ready to put some stuff behind the product they're putting out. I mean, look at the Hard to Kill logo and the graphics. Everything just looks and feels better. I hope that continues, and I hope that the next step, hoping the next step is getting that set right. Still cool, still looks good, still turning away from the hard cam, which I like, but I think a really cool grunge and ECW-like look to where, I don't know, man. I just think there's a play here that, and then you could, I said this to Bert and to I, man, I would love if, and then every pay-per-view, because Bert had mentioned that he wanted every pay-per-view to have a different look and whatever, and I said, yeah, that's money, brother. But if we do a 1990s style Bash at the Beach-like look with the sand places and the sharks, and we do a Spring Stampede with the wagon that used to be out there and some hay, go back and watch those WCW things. They weren't spending the cash on the extras. They just looked cool and they felt like especially if you played the WCW Nitro game, they were cool. So I think there's something we can do that's still I hate to say it, but mid-level or smaller little look to it, but still make it the Impact Zone. Still have a set that is consistent, so we don't have to keep changing. Lucha says next up is Brass Monkey for Speedball. Yeah. All right, yeah. Beastie Boys, that Beastie Boys money isn't in the budget, I don't think. But anyways, I think there's a lot to play here. I think there's a lot to be cautiously optimistic about. I'm trying to put a good spin on it because we're going to watch it anyways. I told Kristen the other day, I said, I've been watching this every Wednesday, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every day in between for 20 years now. I'm not going to miss it. So if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to look for the positives, but I got to admit the negatives, and there were a lot coming up, but I think we can all be, I don't know. Well, that being said, guys, that's as optimistic as I could be today. I'm going to go watch the second half of the game. Make sure you check out GoGoPowerRankings Tuesday with Bert and Datila. Hope I didn't do a bad enough job. I'm sure Lucha will be back next week. It's been a while since I've done this solo, but I appreciate you guys making it interesting in the chat there. Love you guys. Thank you. One friend at a time, one fan at a time. Almost at 4,000 on Twitter. Let's get those 33. It goes back and forth, back and forth. I'm sure that's the bots. Who knows? And 336 on YouTube right here. So let's get those likes up. Let's get those subs up. Let's do all the jazz, man. Let us know that you love what we're putting out there. Check out GoGoPowerRankings Tuesday. And then right after that, 8 p.m., I think that's the time we're going to do it. So you can have a late night Treehouse session with us. LOL TNA, total nonstop deletion review. Halloween episode. So we're all in costume. Enjoy that. Even my dumbass. And get a laugh, man. Talk about total nonstop deletion and beyond. hear Lucha, myself, Johnny, rock it out and have a laugh. And in a time where we're all wishy-washy on everything going on, it's pretty cool just to have three friends chatting it out and shooting the shit and having a laugh. Speaking of that, every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST, talking bloody nonsense. Mr. Impact Craig and Nixon, still killing it, man. Check them out. And look out for After Overdrive for the return of Talking Points. We'll have another episode. After every pay-per-view, we'll have an episode. Or special, whatever you want to call it. So look forward to that. All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with me. I love you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. And check out Impact this week. Good matches.